Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestlemania Night 1. We are here. I'm joined by Christopher Roney, my man Wayne, driving in. What a night, man. I mean, Wrestlemania Night 1, I feel like it hit our expectations. We'll go deeper into it. Let's get it started, though, man. We got the aftermath rolling here. Let's get it going.
Let's go!
What is going on? WrestleMania Night 1. It's over.
Yo.
We are here, the Aftermath podcast. Hey, guys, I got to be honest. That was a pretty damn good show. I think it was I would be honest, like, this was a good damn show. I mean, for a night that I feel like a lot of people were kind of not looking forward to out of the two nights, and where people were more ready for the card of tomorrow's show. I feel like today over delivered a little bit. We saw a surprise return that we'll get into. We saw some really damn good matches, but overall, I mean, it was just a solid show that I think everybody could enjoy. Guys, what are your feelings coming out?
I gotta tell you something. Tonight alone was better than WrestleMania 32 in Dallas.
I can understand that.
Tonight alone. If they don't put on night 2, this is still a better WrestleMania than in Dallas and WrestleMania 32. Let's put it to you that way.
Can understand that.
Great night tonight. Great night. And the reason why I say that, it exceeded my expectations quite a bit.
Let's get into it. What we got the first match. Do we want me to get? I'll get started. Tommy, you want to get started?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Hey, man, throw us in there. We had the Rick Boogs and Shinsuke starting the show.
Oh my goodness!
The Boogs, as David Smith says, the Hook Bros are in the house. Got to show the hair. Represent, Wayne. I know you're driving, so don't take your hand off the wheel. Doesn't matter. He's showing the WrestleMania look. There it is. The Hook Bros are in the house, but Christopher, hey man, let me know what's going on. We had Rick Boogs, Shinsuke Nakamura against the Usos in the WrestleMania Opener.
Honestly, pretty okay opener.
Yeah.
I honestly, going into it, I mean, I think all of our predictions were pretty correct. I think had the Usos retaining, but having that little spot with Boogs with the little deadlift, squatting the Usos with the whole injury with the knee. My first thought, because I didn't see SmackDown, but I noticed they had the little throwback to SmackDown where Boogs faked his knee injury or whatever. I thought it was kind of a work. I thought they were kind of pulling it off as like, oh, Boog's knee gave out because of whatever happened, but I don't watch SmackDown, so I wasn't sure what was going on. But I expected it to be like, oh, this guy's all right. This guy's, faking a knee injury, but then they get more into it and it was real. But
I picked up on that when he wasn't getting back on the apron. Then I knew something was up.
Yeah, it was strange to me, but I mean, I hope he's okay. I hope the surgery goes well. I hope he has a speedy recovery. But in the end, it was pretty solid. I like the start. Nakamura and Boogs coming out hot in the beginning, but I think everybody kind of looked good in it, and that's what WrestleMania is there for. You want everybody to look good, and I feel like they did that with the Usos coming out on top. Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, this match, kind of started hot. I feel like this card kind of, you're sitting there thinking, okay, what match is really going to start it? And I think the Usos in Boogs and Nakamura was a good choice. You gotta love Pat McAfee getting the Boogs and Nakamura hype going. He's definitely one of the main people you want to watch going into tomorrow, and you could just tell that he was enjoying it. And when the commentators are enjoying it, I think that's one of the things that we don't say about Michael Cole is that when you can tell that he's enjoying it, it makes the match that much better. And I think that kind of showed out here. Like you said, the Boogs injury coming off the move, kind of like John Cena had at WrestleMania 25. Funny enough, also in Dallas, Texas, with Edge and Big Show. They attempted whatever he was going for, stacking both guys on top. Obviously, his knee gave out. From what we're hearing, it's a torn patellar tendon. Hoping that he gets surgery here sometime soon and is able to recover. But I mean, credit to the Usos and Nakamura. They were able to kind of take what happened in this match and be able to run with it and make a quick decision. And they were still able to wrap it up in 10 minutes. I think the show was able to start off pretty hot and be able to still keep the storylines going and everything. And yeah, man, I thought this was a really good start to the show. I have no complaints about this match.
I'm not too sure if I would say like the show started off too hot. I wouldn't expect Boogs until like 8 months, but I felt like this was a show that progressively got better.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
As each match went by, it just got hotter and hotter. The crowd was into it. Don't get me wrong, but it just got hotter and hotter as the night went on.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously the right people won. I know we were talking about.
We knew Usos are winning that anyway. It's just the way it happened.
Cause and effect last night. If the Usos win, Reigns is gonna, win tomorrow night. But we don't know that to be true. That's something for us to see tomorrow night. But yeah, overall solid match. I mean, to me, not the worst match of the night, but it was a solid opener. It definitely let a lot to be desired.
I have to agree. I'm excited for tomorrow night for sure.
Definitely.
There's no doubt about it.
I here's the thing. It's a WrestleMania opener. After a while, it can't get. It's going to be the starting match of a WrestleMania, of a 2-night WrestleMania. Like that's just kind of what you're going to end up getting. But I still feel like it was a good match for what it was, especially dealing with the injury. You got to call that match on the fly. And I feel like they did a good job. I feel like Shinsuke kind of handled that really well. And being able to still put on a story that, you can continue into the next night with Roman Reigns and the bloodline, but also be able to, kind of wrap up that momentary, mishap with Boogs. And obviously that's mishap might be the wrong word. Obviously he got hurt, but you're hoping that everything's okay with him. He's going to get surgery and that they can, come back as a tag team. But I still feel like that the Usos were the pick. Yeah. I know that we talked about that, and that was the pick that I think all of us made going into the match.
I think we're all right on. I don't think I would expect Boogs until like Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Survivor Series Royal Rumble.
He's not. It's not like
you're looking at a good 6 months.
It's not John Cena. It's not to the level of, oh well, this is a really big loss. But I still think that people want to see.
Yeah.
Boogs. I still think that he was over enough, and the fact that he got hurt like that, yeah, that really does suck. So, prayers out to Boogs. Hope he is able to come back, and obviously he's a big part of as stupid as it sounds, is Pat McAfee's gimmick is he's over. So I'm kind of hoping they're able to be able to continue that in a few months.
Yeah, man. What do we got next, Tommy?
Well, next, man, I'm pretty sure we had the Drew McIntyre Happy Corbin match, man. It was a
I'm glad this is over with.
This was
I hope it's over with.
A filler match, but I still think that it fit well with what the show was going for. You're starting and getting everything kind of out of the way. I think that this was the kind of match that was able to, get a solid 10 minutes and be able to, fill out the card, but also still be able to get out of the way, like you said, and kind of set the end of a feud.
Yeah. I mean, granted, like Wayne was saying, like, WrestleMania was able to be built up, and matches were able to be improved as the night got on. And I definitely think we improved with going from the tag match to Drew and Corbin, but like Tommy was saying, it kind of felt like a filler. It felt like, and Wayne, obviously he doesn't seem too fond of their rivalry. I necessarily didn't really seem too fond of their rivalry, but Wayne saying, I'm glad it's over. One thing I did have a problem
Well,
with.
you know what it is? It's just gone on like long enough.
Yeah,
Like it
like
just
months.
just went on. It just kind of overdid its stay a little bit. And tonight was good, but they gotta put the punctuation mark. It's gotta say it's gotta be done.
One thing I had a problem with necessarily, and this I just have problems with for all wrestlers and wrestling matches. I don't like when people kick out of people's finishers, and Baron Corbin had like Happy Corbin, whatever you want to call him, had this whole show where no one has
End of days.
out of the end of days, and Drew finally kicked out of the end of days, making him the first person to kick out of Corbin's finish. And I just felt like that was kind of the wrong call. Not necessarily saying, hey, they have to put Corbin over, but, WrestleMania always has to have those big kickouts, and having Drew kick out of, Corbin's finish is the way to do that. It made sense, but then again, if you have a finisher and it's supposed to be your move to finish the wrestler, you should not have them kick out of anything. But I did enjoy I don't know necessarily what I say enjoy it, but the ending with the cutting of the ropes left
That
me
caught me by surprise.
It definitely I've built a ring before. Putting up ropes is definitely a very, very difficult thing to do. I'm surprised they did that so quickly. But it was interesting. They were definitely supposed to go through all three, but they were able to work through it. But overall, I think it was a solid match. I think we all got Drew winning, so we were correct on that. But yeah, Wayne,
with
what
the
else?
Claymore, just like we predicted it. I'm just kind of happy that because I believe this feud is over. I think that's it, and Drew McIntyre needs to go his own separate way now, and so does Corbin. Sure. I think I would have Ricochet feud with Baron Corbin.
That's solid. Yeah,
It's a solid feud. Get Ricochet over a little more, and then Drew McIntyre. I'm not too sure what you really did with him yet, but you gotta build him back up.
Yeah, I mean, Drew is always, ever since he came back, he wanted to be put as that main event guy. Ever since he won the Rumble, beat Lesnar, he was always cemented as that main event guy, and he's kind of still being pushed as that top guy, but they don't have any leeway for him. He can't go against Reigns, say Reigns wins, because they've done that already, But,
yeah, you can't really revisit that for a while.
Yeah, it's strange, but like Tommy says, he wants a bunch of tournaments.
I always want the tournaments.
He wants
stables. Let me tell you, I'm booking the entire year in advance. We're only at night one. You got a whole other night. I've been writing it down, like who I think will be in a stable. I'll reveal that tomorrow. Don't worry. But I'm telling you, man, it's it was a good start to WrestleMania. I know I've been, taking a minute away from the podcast here and let you guys speak, but no, I think overall, I think today was a good show. I think the angles either ended or were able to continue in their own way, and I think, like you said, like McIntyre and what they had with Corbin and Madcap Moss, I think that needed to end. It did. I think it ended well. We had a 10-minute match of two guys, being able to kind of be able to put their moves together, and we saw, like you said, whether you think that Corbin should have been kicked out, at the end of the day should have been kicked out of, that's here or there, but I still think this was an overall a good match, for the 10 minutes that it had.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, and listen, the crowd was into it. The night was still young. Pretty good placement on the card, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, talking about the crowd, I mean, the crowd going into the Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. I mean, this was
Logan Paul can wrestle.
Logan Paul could show up. I mean, he
looked pretty good.
We have not seen the last of him.
No, and I think obviously with the way the match ended, let's go through it real quick. We saw the Mysterios kind of gain control pretty early on. We saw them go with the double 619 at the end. Logan Paul, is in there. The Miz hits the skull crushing finale on Ray, able to get the win for the sneaky win, and then he hits the skull crushing finale on Logan Paul, kind of almost teasing a match for WrestleMania Backlash. What did you guys think about this? I know celebrity matches, we see them at WrestleMania every year.
This wasn't your typical celebrity match.
It is
and
almost
Logan Paul belonged.
Correct. Logan Paul did really good, and I almost feel like Bad Bunny kind of set the standard, and the fact that we still kind of have two celebrity matches tomorrow is crazy. But Bad Bunny kind of set the entire precedent for everything. I feel like Logan Paul did a good job of carrying that. We saw him get a lot of action. We saw him with the ultimate heel move, the Three Amigos, even coming out in the Los Guerreros attire, with what the Mysterios came out with. I thought this match had a lot of good callbacks.
Splash too.
And
The frog
cool?
splash.
Like, Logan Paul knew how to find the camera too.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I felt like, honestly, like, for a celebrity match, and that obviously, when you say that hinders the entire match. We know that this match isn't going to be a 5-star classic or anything like that, but I still feel for what the build-up was, who was involved, I thought this match was really good. Props to Ray, Dominic, and The Miz. I feel like they all carried Logan to a really good match, but also props to him, man. Like, he showed up in the spots that he needed to. His heel work, I think, was phenomenal. I think getting that the pop that he got for the Three Amigos and for the for the frog splash was really well done, and being able to put that all together in a match. I mean, that's tough to do as somebody who's just now debuting in having that celebrity match. But overall, I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was kind of the first match that felt like it belonged on the card. And I say that, and we'll get into a later match, involving some other superstars that really stole the show. But I feel like this was the first match that kind of,
yep.
I don't know, felt the essence of WrestleMania.
This is where it started getting This is where it started getting better and better.
Like the celebrity angle of everything was perfect. I think it was well done. I really did enjoy this match for the 11 minutes that it was on or whatever. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I like the storytelling aspect of it. The storytelling going into the match was pretty okay. But the match in itself, having, Ray wasn't in a lot for the beginning of the match, but when he did come in, the cutoffs were good. Logan was there for his spots. The ending of the match necessarily didn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like it didn't need to happen. I knew going into it, at least one celebrity match, was gonna win. But I picked the Mysterios. That was my first failed prediction, and I think you guys picked Miz and Logan Paul for the win.
Yeah.
So you guys got me on
Of
that.
course.
But I don't know. It was a solid match. I think Dominic was surprisingly very, very good in his debut at WrestleMania. I think he did a good job. It's all of a matter of, where do we go from here? Where do we go with Miz and Logan Paul? Where do the Mysterios go? You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of direction for everybody. And, we're going to hope for the best. What do you think, Wayne?
Well, first of all, Dominic needs to hit the gym.
Yeah.
Logan Paul looked a lot better, more professional wrestler than Dominic.
Like
He's got to hit the
bigger or like cardio?
He needs to put a little muscle on in his arm at least.
Okay.
I know he's young. He's a good worker. Throw some long sleeves on to cover it up if you're not going to hit the gym. But I noticed that his arms are really small. He's got to work. He's got to beef up a little bit. All in all, really good performance. Dominic had a better showing than some of your other veterans tonight, which I'm sure we're going to hit on a little bit. But other than that, for what it was, 10 minutes and change, good match. Logan Paul exceeded my expectation. So it was a fun match. Miz turning on Logan Paul kind of surprised me, so I guess we're going to get a one-on-one match evenally.
At WrestleMania
so we'll see
Backlash.
Where we go from there.
Of course.
WrestleMania Backlash, yeah.
We got to
keep do 1 year build.
No, goodness gracious, Wayne, come on now. We got to keep the WrestleMania branding going here. Yeah, I think this is definitely a match we see at WrestleMania Backlash. Which,
for sure,
had you told me that before tonight, I wouldn't have been invested in. Honestly, with Logan Paul's skills that he showed during the match, I'm a little bit into it. I think this match could work. Hey, let's stop giving. I think tonight really showed we got to stop giving the Miz crap. Like, the dude can work in the ring. The dude
100%.
is fantastic on the mic. The dude is really good just as a character, as himself, and I think that he's one of the Dolph Ziggler-esque unsung heroes of WWE that really fits the mold of a guy that you can put out there every single night that is going to give you 100%, and I think that shows. And I think that's why I'm excited for what we see at WrestleMania Backlash. But it was a good match. But I feel like this match, like Wayne, like you said, it was kind of the turning point, and it was kind of the turning point of the entire show. We got the first real match that I think felt like a WrestleMania style match, the one that kind of had the pageantry, the in-ring, the heel work, the mic work, everything that you needed to set up a good WrestleMania match. I think we saw it with Bianca and Becky, from the entrances to the way the way that Becky looked with her new hairstyle coming off of the her hair being cut on Raw last week. I think this was just a perfect transition.
What a match! What a match!
Really.
Match of the night.
That's a big statement, but I still think that this was the match that kind of set the tone for this isn't your premium live event. This is WrestleMania. Like, this was a really good turning point. We saw Bianca Belair get the win, get the upset win. I think this match had a lot of back and forth, just near falls after near falls. That was one of the things that really highlighted this match. But Bianca gets the win, and she kind of keeps that reign going of being the most over women superstar on the roster. Since going after last year with her WrestleMania win against Sasha Banks. What did you guys think about this match? Do you think that this was the one that kind of set the tone for the way the rest of WrestleMania went on?
Yeah, I definitely think it probably, like Wayne said, like maybe was best match of the night. I think it was definitely a tie between this and what we'll get to later. I think it might be the one after it, but um, yeah, no, it was really good. Like the entrances, the looks, everybody's gear, everything that it had WrestleMania match all over. It was every aspect of it screamed, this belongs on a WrestleMania card. I think both girls really shined. I thought there was maybe a little moment where it felt like when Bianca was on offense, there was a little bit of like misdirection, like she was kind of getting a little bit repetitive in her offense, but that really didn't matter to me. Um, Overall, I think it was a really good match. I think we all had Bianca winning. Um, but I was happy with the outcome. I think there's a lot to go off of going forward. That's why I'm always thinking that, always thinking about the future. But Bianca going forward, with the women's championship, she's got probably some new challengers. Maybe some people, going off of tomorrow night. You know, um, I don't know. Maybe the unification with somebody else that wrestled on tonight's card. Maybe they have a match. Who knows? Wayne, what do you think?
Well, listen, you were the unified. You want the title unified, don't you?
They
Oh man,
not to.
I do too. I do too. I do too. And then and that would probably merging and unifying the women's division all together would make the tag division a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, both ladies worked their tail off. There was not one dull moment. There was constant moving, constant moving. The match was going, going, going. The girls worked their butts off. I didn't really notice any mistakes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you would probably be a little bit better at picking up on those mistakes than I would. But I noticed a lot of other mistakes, a bunch of mistakes in the other match, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But like this was almost a flawless match to me. The fans were into it, teased finishes. It was great. The storytelling was phenomenal. I really enjoyed this match. This was one of my. This has got to be the best women's match I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved every bit of it, and Bianca got the payoff. It was about the. It made sense that Bianca got the payoff stemming from SummerSlam that passed this year.
I
We
think you wrapped it up perfectly right there. Bianca got the payoff. That's what we were looking for. I think Becky, hey, let's just give props to her for her
She's gonna go
doing.
hang out a little bit with her baby. I think she's gonna take a little time off. Not
Yeah,
long,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. But I mean, even just the way that she kind of turned the look into, the hair cutting thing into kind of a David Bowie-esque look, and was able to really kind of encapsulate the crowd with that. I mean, Bianca's entrance was great. I love the. I don't know. It's weird when you get some like, the national anthem where you get the choir or whatever of Texas or whatever, and then you get the Texas Southern University marching band. I think it worked really well today. I think being able to kind of put that local touch on everything
it was all
was.
right. It's that Bianca didn't even go to that school, but I get that they had
No,
a Texas
yeah,
band out there.
but I think that her entrance was definitely helped by that, and you always love those special entrances. I mean, it's come on, like let's be honest here, like we're talking about WrestleMania. I mean, this is WrestleMania night one. Like this was a damn good show, and I think that this was the first match that kind of set that apart. I think the in-ring working outside of the ring, I think they had a really good job of kind of turning that maybe not fully into the hardcore style match, but be able to I don't know. I guess they were able to kind of like tap into that, the fact that, hey, this is a big important match, and they were able to do spots that kind of fit that mold, and I think we saw that. And I mean, overall, I mean, this match was just the turning point of the show. I think from what you can look at from the entire card, this was a good show, but this was the match that really set it apart from, okay, now we're getting into the good stuff, and we'll go into it.
Yep.
You know, I'll lead into it with the next match. I mean, we saw Seth Rollins come out, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins. Obviously, they're a couple. You know, put them back to back. I don't know if that was inherently a plan, but Seth Rollins comes out, grand entrance. You know, we're all expecting a swerve, and then you hear it. The American Nightmare music, Kingdom by Down Straight.
Well, first they teased it. You gotta you can't forget the part how they purposely had the fans waiting.
Yeah. There was a very
the anticipation. It was perfect.
And I think that's kind of why I went with the whole like, oh, we're gonna get Shane. I was still kind of expecting that because he even dropped I think he said something like, "My match is money," you know, line right before that the camera picked up. But man, Cody Rhodes, the entrance, everything. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest and tell you guys, the match could have sucked so much. It wouldn't have mattered. The American Nightmare, as David says, he's arrived in WWE, the first AEW to WWE move that's major. The AEW vice president, the man who started the company, basically, Cody Rhodes, back in WWE. What a moment.
He was so over. What a moment.
Oh, my goodness. What a moment. I mean, this was a history-making moment. And like I said, it wouldn't have mattered what the match was like. The fact that the match was great was even better. But Cody Rhodes, AEW vice president, you know, making the move, making the jump from AEW to WWE, the first big one. I mean, Christopher, what do you think? I mean, this is, you know, I don't know about you. All I've wanted was to kind of relive that Attitude Era, the unexpected moves, the jumps, the surprises. As much as this was rumored, I mean, this was perfect. I mean, this was what I think as a wrestling fan I've wanted for 15, 20 years, is be able to see something like this moment where a major star from one company is jumping to the next. And we saw it with Cody Rhodes. As David said, Cody versus Seth, it might have just been the match of the night. And to put it right after Bianca Becky, I mean, that's an impressive match to follow. What do you think about this one, man?
Dude, I was just happy overall that we weren't let down. You know, everybody had their expectations so high. Everybody heard the rumors, and everything was true. And they were able to deliver on what they say is, you know, the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Most stupendous, I think, is the word they used. You know,
stupendous, as Pat McAfee would say.
Having Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, you know, is the way to do that. You know, both men, I think they really killed it. They lived up to the expectations. The match was really solid, good high spots, great storytelling. The crowd was into it. Cody was over as hell. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, where do they go from here?
Yeah.
You know, where does Cody go? What does Rollins do off of this loss? You know, he's obviously going to go crazy. The Vince saying, hey, I want a rematch, this and that. I wasn't ready, this and that, you know. Possibly, like, they have to book them to finish this rivalry. Probably go best 2 out of 3. But then Cody's got to do something. Maybe give Cody the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
You know, give him
some leeway. You got to ride the momentum.
I'll say something here before we toss it to Wayne, but I mean, I don't know if you guys were able to check it out. Variety did a whole interview that released with Cody Rhodes on his intentions and his move and everything, and how he wants to, capture that title that his father never was able to capture. He had the match with superstar Billy Graham, 1970-71 in Madison Square Garden, wasn't able to win the match, and here we are. Cody's finally gonna get that chance. I think you said it best. Like, there's so much more to this story. The fact that there's even a possibility that we could get a full month's booking of Cody versus of Seth is incredible. I mean, this is the fact that we're even talking about this match. I know, like, obviously, like you said, the rumors were there. Everybody knew that, it was pretty obvious. Cody Rhodes was making a debut. But the fact that it happened on WrestleMania, night one, I mean, it's such a crazy moment. Like, I kept tweeting about it, but, like, this is a history-making moment. The fact that we're seeing the guy who started, you can argue that, but Cody Rhodes is the guy who started AEW. He accepted Meltzer's challenge of putting on a card that could, sell out an arena, did that with All In, with indie wrestlers, was able to really, take the wrestling business by storm and kind of move it into this boom period that it's been experiencing for the first time, I think, in almost 20 years. I'd at least say since the Invasion angle. And we're back here, and now he's in WWE. I mean, Wayne, what do you think about it? This is you got to live the Attitude Era. You're older than me and Chris, but this is a history making moment, I'd like to say, and we saw it here on WrestleMania 38. Man, what a night one experience we got to see.
Without a doubt, it was just so surreal. It was surreal. It was funny. I was with Frank Manzo tonight. He was going nuts. He loved it. And I was just sitting there taking it in. It was just very surreal to see Cody back, but to see the megastar, if you want to call it that, but the big star that he's developed himself into the past couple of years with everything that he's done, working in Ring of Honor, New Japan, and basically helped creating AEW. And then the matches he's had over the last several months with MJF, Brody Lee, he has done a lot, and the fans know that, whether they want to cheer him or boo him. But Cody's has done a lot for the business, and to have him come from AEW as a major star to WrestleMania to re-debut, it was just very, very surreal. It was big, history making, and
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's not going to be the first time we see this. I think, we're gonna see a lot of movement back and forth over the next however many years.
Yeah, but like, doesn't that excite you? Like, the fact, I honestly think
It does.
the fact
It really
that
does. You gotta love the change of scenery for Cody Rhodes, and not to mention bringing his AEW gear, bringing his AEW music, his look. It was just so surreal.
And credit to WWE, there was nothing changed about his entrance outside of the little, like, cage that kind of came down with AEW's stage setup that they have. I mean, this was the entire gimmick, what he brought over from AEW. It's just, that's the thing, is that this, I tweeted it out. I think this match could have been absolutely garbage, and I still would have popped from the fact that this is a AEW vice president, the vice president, making the move to WWE. I mean, that we haven't seen a moment like this, I think, in wrestling history, from a...
We've never seen this dynamic before.
Hey, there's two major companies again. Like, TNA, obviously, Christopher, I'm sure you could, add more to this, but this is coming from somebody who lived during, got into wrestling in 2002. Like, WWE has been number one, and they've always been number one. And there's not really been a number two. And the fact that AEW is number two, but not only rising and pushing for that number one spot. And the fact that we're having people jump from both shows. We saw, Samoa Joe jump from WWE last night to AEW at Ring of Honor Supercard. I mean, this is
that was a good event, by the way.
This is just a moment for wrestling fans that I think
this has been a good weekend so far.
Exactly. I feel like this is the kind of thing that, as a wrestling fan, like, at least for me, like, I've been waiting for, man. Like, I've been waiting for it, this entire weekend with WrestleMania, and I feel like my expectations were met and exceeded, and this match definitely delivered. I was, last night I predicted we'll see Shane, and then we'll get the double swindle, and we'll see Seth on night 2. We didn't get that. We got Cody night 1. We got the full entrance. We got a 20-minute match. This was good, man. I mean, this really was good. I mean,
I loved it. We knew this was going to be good. We knew this was going to be good.
The fact that they were able to deliver for what, if you look at the way night 1's card was structured versus night 2, I think we all could be honest and just say that night 2 was probably the better card. But night 1 was really answered the show. And as much as whether you didn't like this next match or not, I think Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, like, it kept the momentum going. I think the two, they were able to, they had a few missteps. There was a few spots
where... Oh, my God. Charlotte Flair. Oh, boy.
Hey, let me tell you, I predicted it. I told you I don't like Charlotte Flair. I'm not the biggest fan of hers. I think that there were a few spots where we had some, whether it was a wardrobe malfunction or a move malfunction or whatever. There were a few spots in this match, but I still think it was fine. I wasn't disappointed with the match for as much as I thought I'd probably say I would be, but this match was it happened. Ronda and Charlotte, and we saw Charlotte get the win here, which was honestly quite surprising. I thought Ronda would get the continue her winning streak and
did I be call that kind Ronda of... last night? I don't even remember.
You did.
You did call Ronda.
I
think we all called Ronda. Yeah, I think this was the first one that I missed. But yeah, man, we saw Charlotte get the win here. The almost upset in a way, which it was surprising. But it was fine. I'd give it a C+. Christopher, what'd you think, my man? It was a this match happened. This match was a bridge between, the Stone Cold moment.
This match hit hard for me. I was not going into this match excited at all. I had no care for this match due to me having no care for Ronda Rousey as of currently.
Oh, so you don't have Ronda Rousey care, and I don't have Charlotte Flair care. It works out really well, man.
I'm not a fan of real fighters coming into WWE thinking they can fake fight. Brock Lesnar is kind of my only, exception because he kind of did start in wrestling before he went to UFC.
He's not human, man. We don't consider Brock Lesnar. He's F5 to Shark, so he's not involved.
But Ronda can't sell for her life. Her offense is terrible. They looked like they were rolling around, play fighting the entire time.
The constant armbar shift was. Hey, there we go, David, right there, my man, David. I hate Charlotte Reigns. David Smith, carrying the Smith name right there. He knows what's up. We don't like Charlotte Reigns. We don't like Charlotte Reigns Cena. I'm sorry, Christopher. I keep interrupting you, but
don't worry about it. But I think it made sense for her to win, just based off of Bianca winning the Raw Women's title. I'm gonna say it again. This unification thing that they're doing with the world title. If they're unifying the world title, they have to unify the women's titles too and the tag titles.
I agree. Get consistent. Give it a brand split.
having Charlotte versus Bianca is the way to go. Saving, Becky and Ronda for, maybe next year WrestleMania, maybe Survivor Series like they originally tried to. But,
Am I wrong thinking that have we seen Bianca Charlotte?
so that we saw it at Survivor Series. I think they were in a 5-on-5 at one point.
Okay, so it's not been a full singles match.
I
Like
don't
this
think they've
hasn't.
ever had a 1-on-1.
And that's the thing, as we were talking about last night, like like how The Rock and Reigns is the kind of big match that they have. I think Charlotte Bianca is the biggest women's match that you have left right now.
And I think you can really, build up to that, especially if they're unifying it or not. If they want to do it at Survivor Series and build it up for the next couple months, they can do that. Charlotte really didn't have a lot of title defenses this past reign that she had leading up to her wrestling Ronda. But overall, I think probably the worst match of the night, in my opinion.
Wow,
Maybe,
that's a big statement right there.
No, I mean, I don't like it. I'm a big psychology guy. I like wrestling sense. This wrestling did not make sense to me.
Were you okay with the spot on the card? Would you rather have this match?
Oh,
and I think that, like, go and before I end that, like, a lot of people were upset that this wasn't the main event. I think the way that the main event played out in the way that this match played out,
absolutely.
I think it worked really well. I enjoyed the fact that this was not the main card, and that says something. Like, yes, I would have loved to have seen. I think Bianca and Sasha was a fantastic choice for night one of WrestleMania last year. I honestly think Bianca Becky would have been, now that we're looking back at and seeing the match itself, I think that would have been a fantastic choice. But this match maybe it was the build-up, maybe it was who was involved or whatever, but this match just didn't scream main event to me, and I'm glad that it wasn't the main event.
I would have 100% swapped the women's title matches on the card if it was up to me.
That's fair.
But
I think that's a fair statement.
They only made that decision to have Charlotte and Ronda placed where it was placed because Ronda won the Royal Rumble and it meant more.
That's very fair. Wayne, what do you think about that, my man?
Place where it was placed. In quality of Bianca and Becky was 100% better. And it could have been swapped, and I would have enjoyed the show more. It would have flowed better, like Wayne was saying. The show improved, throughout the show. But when we hit that match, it just felt like, we hit the underpass and we lost signal.
Ronda and Charlotte had a lot to follow already after those two great matches we had just had, the two of the best matches of the night.
Yeah.
So they had a lot to follow. Frank Manzo pointed out that Ronda doesn't seem like she's very into this feud.
No, she doesn't.
Ronda's coming out to the ring all smiley McGee, Kool-Aid smile. I mean, come on. You got the crap beaten out of you 3 out of the last 4 times on a Monday Night Raw, and you're coming out. I would be coming out all pissed and serious and in fight mode, ready to go. Maybe a slight grin to the fans' acknowledgement, but otherwise I would have my game face on. And she's all Kool-Aid smile, and that light up the whole stadium. Like, what's going on here? Charlotte, she, wow, Botch Fest. She will be on Botchamania this week. They are gonna have a lot of fun with this.
A body part was shown.
She was, but that could have caused her to be out of sync. But she was out of sync, messing up some really, really bad spots. 3 times, at least 3 times I counted. Chris, you probably counted more, but I counted 3 times, 3 big spots. Charlotte messed up. Pacing wise, I was interested. The match kept on going regardless. It didn't overstay its welcome. I guess the match length was its appropriate time. But Charlotte had a bad outing. Let me tell you, uh, just the way it ended, I could probably expect maybe us getting a rematch in the future, or maybe not. Who knows? But
WrestleMania Backlash.
Charlotte had a bad outing. Let's just say that. I guess it could have been one of the worst matches of the night. I mean, I was definitely more invested in this match than I was with Drew McIntyre and Corbin, and more invested in this match than the tag title. The tag match in the beginning. And I don't know if you guys noticed the New Day versus Rich
Yeah.
Holland and Sheamus either got bounced off the card tonight. Like, I guess maybe because the event was going too long, or maybe it got moved to night 2. I don't know what's happening there, but
Night 2.
yeah, this was not a good outing for Charlotte whatsoever. I was really hoping she would drop this title tonight.
Yeah.
Tommy, I know you're hoping for it.
I'm always hoping for Charlotte to lose, man. I'm not a Charlotte fan. In case anybody was wondering, in case we got any new viewers, I'm not a Charlotte fan.
That's just my take on that match. Charlotte had a very, very bad outing. There was a lot. I think there's a lot more negative than positive to this resort out of this match tonight.
It's upsetting. Charlotte's good. She could have done better, but she wasn't put with somebody that experience, and is able to, flow better with her, and I feel like, with Charlotte keeping the title, they'll be able to put her with somebody that will actually be able to, go the mile,
Yeah, but
listen, you got Bailey waiting in the wings for somebody.
You have Bailey waiting. You have Naomi, Sasha, depending on, what happens with their title. Supposedly, if it is a unification, they get rid of the brand split. You have all the girls on Raw. You have NXT call-ups. You got stuff to work with. I don't know, but
absolutely.
Let's get into this main event though. Main event, we have Kevin Owens show. Show. With special guest Stone Cold Steve Austin, hometown hero, Texas boy, and
he pop of the night, and Cody Rhodes is the second pop of the night. By the way,
absolutely. Like, I knew immediately once Kevin Owens started talking, saying, "Oh, he's not coming out here until I announce him to come out here." Yeah, no, any second now his music was gonna hit, and granted it did, but pop of the night, he owned that crowd, man. He didn't have to say a damn thing in order to get a reaction. He can just walk, he can stare, he can just sit there and say nothing and let Kevin Owens talk and get reactions, and it's amazing because that's just who he is. That's who he is, and that's who he's always going to be. But the one thing that did happen tonight is had our little monkey to the segment. They decided to put Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens into an impromptu match and make it no holds barred, no disqualification. What do you?
That was a good way to do that, to cover Steve Austin not really being able to work like he used to. No holds barred was a perfect way to do that.
Yeah, but also let's just be honest here. Like, no holds barred. Whether it was 2 out of 3 falls or whatever the match ended up being, we got a Stone Cold Steve Austin match, 19 years that lasted 13 minutes. 19 years after his retirement. Your thoughts
19
on the
years
match?
after WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, that's the thing, is your thoughts on the match itself. Whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that we saw a longer than 10-minute match with Stone Cold. I mean, if anything, I thought that this match would be, just like The Rock and Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 32. Funny enough, also in Dallas, Texas, in the exact same stadium, AT&T Stadium. A quick stunner, boom, we're done. We're getting out of there. It show's over. No, this match went a good bit. Like they fought across the stage. They fought outside. Like
Yeah.
this
Oh,
was
and
this
didn't we
was
pull the ATV?
the ATV. Of course, Stone Cold wouldn't be walking down that fucking ramp. Are you crazy?
But he did walk down WrestleMania 32's ramp. I found that out.
He did, but he wouldn't be. He made the walk down WrestleMania 32's ramp and said, He was done. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that walk.
What did you guys think of that bump on the concrete in the crowd, man? That scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, honestly, for as much as they didn't take their shirts off. Like, they didn't fully get into a match. But I also think that they, for what it was, the fact that we honestly thought that this would just be a talk show segment, it wasn't a bad ending to WrestleMania. Of course, I would have loved a whole.
It was to be expected that we were going to get something like
that. But I also thought to be expected, like, we'd get a 5-minute match. Like, the fact that I think it went like 13 and a half minutes, like,
yeah,
that was good. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with how the show ended. I think that it's something that Kevin Owens isn't going to, get the degenerative part of it and still be able to kind of keep his spot at the main roster. But also Stone Cold is able to get that moment of, hey, I'm, still here. We're in Dallas, Texas. Like, we have that main event moment. And I thought it worked. I honestly wasn't displeased by it, if that's the best way to say it. I think it was a fine WrestleMania main event. The fact that we have a second night is great, but for what it was a
very
Texas size moment.
Dude, I think it was just like, it was kind of like, in a wrestling terms, it was kind of like a selling test moment for Kevin Owens. He was just there to get his ass kicked and, just make him look great. He was.
Hey, but Stone Cold took a stunner. Stone Cold took his own move.
I called that yesterday.
You did. Like, I would give you credit. He did. You did call him taking his own move.
Like, who's coming out on top? And I said, I think both of them are stunning each other. But Stone Cold coming out on top.
I was down with it. I honestly didn't think it would happen, but I was okay with when it did happen.
I knew it, man. It has to have some story in it. Whether it was the passing of the torch or not, you know what I mean? If Kevin Owens was going to win or lose, it was that moment that solidified Kevin as, somebody that, was able to be put in this important position. And, hopefully they really go somewhere with this guy after, because he's not doing nothing right now. So I want the best for Kevin Owens after this. I think he deserves, maybe go wrestle Finn Balor for the U.S. title after he's done with Damian Priest.
God, that'd be great.
The Money in the Bank contract is, waiting for him. They have a lot to go. So I'm really excited for tomorrow night, night 2, to see how they can recap the best WrestleMania of all time.
The most stupendous.
The stupendous.
Stupendous.
This match was very entertaining. And it was more of a nostalgia act. It was a good way to end the show. I mean, in hindsight, you could have gotten away with having this start off the show and then have Becky and Bianca main event in hindsight.
Yeah, but I think that people were staying,
but people wanted to go. I think WWE wanted to kind of have it in a slot where they can guarantee that people will go home happy.
That was the reports, was that they didn't want people to leave.
More like a to be continued.
Yeah. Like, they didn't want
Going
people
into
to leave
tomorrow.
after seeing Stone Cold, and I think that was a good decision. You know, and especially that's me saying that coming off of what ended up being the Ronda versus Charlotte match. I think that wasn't as good as it could have been in the proverbial main event spot. So I'm glad that this match kind of was the lasting image that people got to see for WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. All in all, like a great night, and again, this like just tonight alone was better than the last time they were in Dallas, WrestleMania 32 as a whole. WrestleMania 32 just fell flat in so many ways and had
Yeah,
many injured stars.
yeah.
They did not do a great job putting that Mania together by any means. And just tonight alone was just so much better.
For Night 1, yeah. I
For
mean,
night one, and the card on paper looks stronger tomorrow.
exactly.
So they
And
should be able to follow. The night 2 should be able to follow night 1.
correct.
Yeah.
And Christopher, we'll get into your final thoughts as we bring this plane in for landing. But man, I thought this was a really good show, man. I really, as Wayne kind of said, like Night 1's card wasn't as I think stacked as Night 2, but we were able to still kind of get a WrestleMania-esque card. I think it's one that had its fair share of big moments. It had the celebrity match. It had the surprise of Cody Rhodes returning. It had the pageantry moment of Stone Cold making his re-entrance, I guess, for one last time. I thought this was a good show, and I'm really excited for Night 2 and for the Raw after Mania. What do you think about it, Christopher?
Yeah, man, I think you got it right on the dot. I think, it hit, the WrestleMania standard. It had, the surprise. It had the good entrances. It had the match qualities. It had the, the celebrity match, the shocking, Stone Cold Steve Austin, farewell match, this one down. It had what a WrestleMania should have, I was satisfied. I think I'd probably give it maybe like eight out of 10.
That's a fair review, man. I give it like 7.5, 8
Yeah.
out of 10, man. It was a good show. It was a really, really good first night.
I hope that, like you said, seeing you on paper, it does look like a better card. It does follow up and everything just keeps on improving, keeps on growing. It all just gets better from here.
Yeah.
And it leaves a lot of leeway for Raw after, did see a little, segment with Stephanie McMahon announcing Gable Stevenson. His debut on Raw.
That should be on Raw, yeah.
A possibility. You know what I mean? Starting
the fact that we still have a possible Tommaso Ciampa debut, a Gable Stevenson debut, a Edge versus AJ Styles and Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar match over the next 2 nights, and even a possible Rock appearance. Like, I mean, this is going to be a really, really solid next 2 nights of wrestling.
And
Tommy, don't forget Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker, of course, Braun Breaker, my man. I did tell you, I told you he would lose at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, that's surprising.
I was the only one who picked that. So you know what? I'll hold that.
We'll find out why he loses over the next couple of days, and I believe there can't be any other reason than he's just going to be called up.
He's going to get called up, of course.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Quick, but
don't worry. We'll debut Stable Wars tomorrow. Stable Wars will be full and ready, and we'll have the whole 8-man tournament planned out. I'm ready to debut my findings and everything for going into tomorrow.
Tommy confirmed booking the rest of WWE.
Booking the rest of WWE for the entire 2022 year. It is. I am booking for 2023 WrestleMania. They already made a promo for it. They know the matches. I communicated it with them, during tonight's show. I can't spoil what it is, on the aftermath. Gotta wait a few weeks for that, but the WWE knows, man. They ran that
no
promo for a
spoiler
reason.
here, Tommy.
No, they ran the promo for a reason. I gotta keep my sources, which is myself. My source would be myself, but I gotta keep the sources kind of unlocked,
So let me ask you.
Okay.
Does The Rock show up tomorrow night to confirm
The Rock
after their main event?
Let me tell you,
Does that happen? Do we think
this
it
is
happens?
not a spoiler. This is a guarantee. I guarantee. This is a Tommy Smith birthday guarantee. It's even better because it's my birthday next week. The Rock will show up at the end of WrestleMania tomorrow to challenge and set up a match a year in advance with Roman Reigns. WrestleMania 39 to Hollywood. It's the main event. I'm already calling it. I've already spoken with Vince McMahon. Me and Bruce Pritchard are in on the entire business aspect of it. It's happening. The Rock will be there tomorrow. The Rock will be there on Monday night at American Airlines Arena. Just be ready. I'm telling you that the Tommy secret is there.
So so what you're saying is this could get more stupendous tomorrow than what it was.
I'm telling you right now
this night was pretty stupendous.
Stone Cold wasn't even the best pop of the entire weekend,
dude.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Because The Rock.
If The Rock shows up,
when The Rock shows up,
yeah.
and the fact that Stone Cold is already better than what Cody Rhodes is. I mean, I'm telling you, I had really high hopes for this weekend. Night one reached it, which is I'm honestly pretty excited and surprised to say, but The Rock is coming out tomorrow, and
I think it's happening. I think you got to set up for LA.
I'm going to pop. It's going to be a moment, and I promise you, if you smell hits in the arena, I mean, AT&T Stadium is going to pop. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it just makes sense.
Imagine.
And the fact that
and we've been calling this for a very long time too, Tommy.
But yes, and we have. But imagine, that's the thing, Chris. You said it. This is the biggest pop of the entire weekend, and we haven't even seen it yet. And we've seen Stone Cold and Cody Rhodes come back. I mean, this is. Hey man, I said it before. I think I said it last night. I think this pay-per-view had a chance of reaching WrestleMania 31 status of quite possibly the best show in recent memory, and also just the fact that the show wasn't built very well and definitely exceeded expectations. And if night one's any indication, I mean, this is going to be a fun weekend, man. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I have high expectations. I think we're going to see the future of not only the WWE, but also the future of wrestling kind of built tomorrow. I mean, we're getting a winner take all match. I mean, this is probably the biggest main event since WrestleMania 30. I don't know where you guys were, but I mean, the WWE Network was just launching back then.
I was there.
This is.
They were Vince McMahon and all of those suits were crossing their fingers.
Yeah,
nervous that the network would not bomb out and stream would go out.
Wayne, you were there. I was at home. I was turning 16 about that same week. Here we are, man. 8 years later. This is a big weekend for wrestling fans, and I honestly think for the first time in a while, I think that it actually will hit, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow as we bring this plane into landing. It seems like Wayne, you're kind of on the Rock boat, showing up for tomorrow as well. It's me, Christopher. You got anything on that?
I think you gotta book it like that. I think you gotta book it like that. If you get it, you gotta book it like that.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. We can imagine we're ending night one of WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin and ending night 2 with The Rock.
I mean, my goodness.
That like
Could you predict a better show? Like, yes, that's 19 years later, but like,
it's crazy.
I
it's
want
a
to
crazy
say something
moment.
really quick.
Come together.
I gotta say something really quick. Don't be disappointed if The Rock doesn't show up tomorrow, because there's always Monday, and then The Rock did this when he confronted John Cena.
Yeah,
He confronted John Cena on the Monday, not the night of Mania.
Monday could be Friday.
But could you really be
disappointed?
disappointed? Like,
I don't know about Friday, but we'll see.
And I think that's kind of the whole thing. Is like, yes, I have very high expectations for tomorrow, but also like, man, we got Cody Rhodes and Stone Cold on night 1. Like,
keep your expectations high.
Like that's we had a damn. Let's just be honest. Like, we had a damn good night 1 of WrestleMania. Like this,
we have a lot. We have a lot more positives out of tonight than negatives. We haven't even got a night 2 yet.
This I think I was going into it knowing that like it was going to be a good show, and that was just maybe hope, but this kind of reinforced the fact that like we are in another wrestling boom period. Like I think with AEW and the way that WrestleMania has been, like we're in a period of wrestling where like it's going to translate through pop culture, and I think we're kind of already seeing that. But yeah, man, this was I'm excited. I really am excited for tomorrow night. 8:00 can't come soon enough. There's no stand and deliver to kind of break the mold in between. But man, it's WrestleMania weekend.
I did not watch all of Ring of Honor's pay-per-view.
Oh, you need to watch. You need to watch Supercard of Honor. I promise you.
I watched half of it. I just got to the end of FTR versus Briscoes.
Okay, so you saw the
whole show.
Well, I'll tell you.
I know about Samoa
That's
Joe
the best
already.
part. That's the best part of the night. But overall, great show. I mean, and that's the thing is that the fact that we are, you know, whether you like this show, whether you like AEW, whether you like WWE, it doesn't matter. The fact that we are sitting here right now, talking about people jumping from each show, talking about major stars showing up at the biggest shows of the year.
It's fun. This has been a fun
It really is. It is fun, man. And that's the thing is like, Wayne, you got to experience the Attitude Era. I didn't. Christopher, I don't know about you. I'm sure you got to see it.
Listen, like back then, there was no internet to spoil things.
So exactly.
Like you weren't expecting it, and that's what made it so good.
Yeah.
So if people could just kind of like keep their mouth shut when contracts run out.
Yeah, shut up. Stop talking about it. Stop posting.
Exactly. Just keep the business end on it wrap. And listen, I get that journalists got to do their job, and people want the inside scoop and everything. But there's got to be like a limit, you know. There's got to be that anticipation and wondering why. Hey, why is this wrestler? Hasn't been around for a little while. And that's not another show.
That's coming from a journalist himself. You know, I work in news and everything, but man, let me tell you, like. There
needs to be a better element of surprise.
Correct.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm wrestling. Like, these need to be kept on a wrap a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we'll wrap it up here, but I think the fact of the matter is like, I know where I was when CM Punk returned after 7 years. I made it a point to watch that live. Yeah.
There.
But like, you know, that moment in Cody Rhodes, like, let's just call it as it is. I mean, this is the guy, the one guy who brought everybody together, who accepted Meltzer's challenge and said, okay, we'll put on an indie show. He started WWE's biggest competition in over 15, 16 years.
Yep.
And now he's back in WWE. I mean, like, this is a history-making moment. And the fact that I'm getting to talk about this with you guys, like, after WrestleMania is such a cool moment. Like, this show really, like, if you go into it with lower and that sounds bad, like lower expectations, but this show really for night one, for how the card stacked up, I think it really answered and was able to really kind of put WWE back on that map of, hey, we can still put on good wrestling shows. I think this was the point of that, and
we saw good wrestling tonight.
man, we got 3.5 hours, 4 hours maybe of wrestling. Like, we got a good whole show, and then we got Monday night too. Like, this is, man, what a good weekend. Like, this really was well deserved and well earned for our wrestling fans. Like, this was it, man. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to night 2. We'll bring it in for landing here. I mean, guys, I know you'll be back. Wayne, I know you won't be driving tomorrow. You know,
I actually just pulled into my driveway right now.
Yeah, perfect, man.
Perfect timing.
Perfect to wrap it up. But yeah, Wayne, I know you'll be joining us tomorrow. Joe will be joining us back, I'm sure, for WrestleMania Night 2. Christopher, you'll be back.
Yes, I will.
Man, we are wrapping it up. This is the probably the biggest week of our year. I'd say for the Aftermath podcast, probably the biggest week for wrestling in itself. I mean, this is all eyes are on WrestleMania, and we're living it, man. We're going into night 2. It's 1:37 here. We're still we're ready, man. We're ready for
I'm
for
going
night.
To the late
we're already going
tomorrow.
into night 2.
To the 12:30 service. I ain't going to no 9 a.m. 10:30 service. I'm going to the 12:30.
There you go. Night 2 is tonight, man. We're going into it. You know, we'll keep the continuity going, but man, this has been fun, gentlemen. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. You know, I'll reveal our stable wars. We'll be booking WrestleMania 39 well into advance of the Aftermath podcast. I think we're pretty good at predicting well in advance. I was 6 for 7 tonight. I think we did
a pretty good job.
I only missed one.
Like one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all missed one. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah, man. This is
I missed 2.
This
Tom,
has been
make sure before we go up the air, make sure you tell everybody what they're supposed to do. It's right on the ticker. It's right on the ticker on the bottom.
Yeah, you see it on the bottom rolling across your screen. You need to subscribe to the Aftermath, the hardest working podcast this entire week. WrestleMania week. We got one on WrestleMania Friday, WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2 tomorrow. I mean, if you want to look at it, it's tonight. WrestleMania Night 2 tonight. We'll be there. WrestleMania after Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. I mean, it's a big night. We'll be there. Guess what? The Aftermath, it doesn't stop. 4 nights in a row. We're in night 2. We're going into night 3. For Wayne and Christopher Roney, I'm Tommy Smith, man. This has been a great show. The Aftermath. WrestleMania Night 1. It is over. We are here. We'll see you back later tonight for WrestleMania Night 2. For everybody, have a good one. Let's do it.
From the champion.